Everyone, and we are delighted to have you wherever you are. It seems like we have people from everywhere joining today in every mode of transportation. I'm going to just go ahead and share the screen. For those of you, and there's several of you on here that I do not know, my name is Kim Kitchings. I lead the Consumer Marketing Division at Cotton Incorporated. So this is I guess a third or fourth time that we've had the opportunity to talk with you about different activities that we're doing. And we're delighted to be here today to talk to you about youth marketing. And it will be myself and Ann David, our Director of Advertising out of the New York office. And we put a presentation together for you. And we're really going to look at three areas of youth marketing: what the opportunity is, the target market, talk about objectives, what we're going to try to achieve with this market, and what we've been doing with this market, looking at past and current partnerships, and then what does the future hold as we start to delve into this market and as they age and become the spenders of the next generation. So let's go ahead and jump in. So let's start by quantifying for you who we're talking about. Right now, we're going to categorize youth marketing into Gen Z. These are consumers that were born between 1995 and 2009. So I'll do the math for you. They're 12 to 26 years of age. And by the way, I have three of them in my household, so a good sampling. And when we talk about youth marketing at Cotton Incorporated, we're really talking about the 12-year-old to about the 21 into college, and the opportunities we have there. We don't typically go beyond 12 because of legal issues in reaching them in the media areas. So let's talk a little bit about who this market is in totality, though, in Gen Z. This is the first generation to be born with technology literally in the palm of their hand in social media. They are the most diverse generation of any generation we've seen culturally, ethnically, racial, and religious. And when we look at some of the things they've been through, and just in the past year alone, the global pandemic, they've been through a global recession, and they've seen significant social and even climate change, and that's a pun on words in a variety of ways, on what they have access to and the type of information and more choices than any other generation before. And all of this impacts how we market or we reach out to this generation. I do like to underscore too their influence or purchasing power. And Gen Z currently commands about $143 billion in buying power. And this is about 40% of total consumer spending. So it's something to certainly be considerate of. And again, as they age, they will take on more of that. And the last point I'll make on this slide for you is that 93% of Gen Z parents say that they influence their decisions. So it's not just Gen Z you're targeting necessarily, many times it's the parents too. And so these are some categories about why they're important, but why does it matter to cotton and to our industry? Well, this is a chart that talks about search behavior. And those of you that know me know that I would be searching for one of two things. Certainly cotton is the foremost, or maybe food. But on this one, we're talking about cotton. And this is specifically talking about checking labels. So we're looking at three generations: Generation X, Y, and Z. And what this chart is showing you is that Generation Z, the yellow bar, checks label at a lesser rate or a lower rate than what we see in Y and X. And the concern about that is that if you looked at Generations X and Y when they were the same age as Generation Z is still significantly lower. So we need to influence this market and to get them up to standards. So the good news is, so at X and Y, they're almost equivalent now at how often they're looking at labels. Now, this doesn't mean, though, that Generation Z doesn't love cotton. In fact, the majority say it's their favorite fiber, which is good, and 6 out of 10 are aware of the seal of cotton. So there's already a foundation here to continue to work with and target this market. But the younger the consumer, the least likely they are to say this unaided. So then what does matter to youth shoppers when they're looking for apparel? Well, first and foremost is fit. Will it fit me? How will it look? That's important. Impressions, then price. And it's interesting because all generations, except for this one, price is number one. So what's close to the heart is the wallet and what that can do for them. Then other aspects, comfort, which we know cotton owns comfort, style, quality, and durability. Now you will see on the bottom of this chart currently is eco-friendly, but I'm going to talk more about that in a moment because this is what first comes to their mind and what they say matters to them related directly to clothing, not just the environment. The other point I wanted to make on this chart is that bricks trump clicks. And that means that Generation Z still prefers to shop in store when buying apparel items. 64%, in fact. And it's not just apparel, it's almost all goods other than computers and gaming. So there's also opportunity to influence them at the point of purchase and when it really matters about what they're looking for in apparel. So I mentioned we were going to talk more about Gen Z and what it can take for them to buy more cotton. We asked this of them in a study in 2019, right before the pandemic hit. We were looking into this market, and I've color coded this chart for you. It's a Wordle. And what I want you to take notice of first are the yellow descriptions and what they're saying. And the yellow ones are talking about affordability and price. Again, I said the heart is where the wallet is. Consumers care most about price, and Gen Z is no different. So I would buy more cotton if you can make it more affordable for me. So make sure I have options at all price points. Then secondly, it's really about benefit marketing in the purple shade that's on my screen. If you look at that, they talk about, well, tell me about the benefits. Let me know that it's more breathable for athletic use. Tell me if it will last longer. Will it be more durable for me, and the quality? And of course, comfort comes up again. And then last but not least is looking into the eco-friendly component. Consumers in this generation, they do care when they think about it. And they say, well, tell me, is it recyclable? What can I do with the cotton? Can you tell me about the benefits to the environment, or how we can make it more sustainable? So there's opportunity here, not just for awareness, but education. So then how are they influenced by clothing choices? And we looked at this subsegment just among the teens and the Gen Z, and this is specifically about going back to school. And number one was social media. Now, we have not seen this in any other generation because, of course, they have the most access to this of any previous generation. But they do also still rely on friends, what they already own, similar to previous generations, celebrities. And here, celebrities aren't just maybe some of the typical definitions, but also influencers, gamers, YouTubers, family. And then it's interesting, too, if you look at school policy impacts. I know it does in my household what children can wear. And so we look at that and have to understand what those opportunities could be in that area. So what they do for fun is really the top three is the top three regardless of age. 13 to 18-year-olds, their number one activity is to play video or mobile games on their phones. So think anything like 1010, Candy Crush, so on, that type of thing on the mobile phone, watch TV and movies. And then we group the rest together because the top three were the same. Watch TV, watch movies, play video and mobile games. So if we can stay in this realm, we're able to reach these consumers and also have a spillover effect with some of our core activities because there are limited budgets. So when we talk about the youth marketing, that's set up for you, who they are, why, some of their interests, what are our objectives? Well, they're not that different at all than our core objectives, and that is to position cotton as a fiber of choice, period, among this generation. And there is a consumer journey that some of you may have heard me talk about that goes into awareness, engagement, and action. And it's not necessarily linear. This can happen at different points in time. But what we want to do is make certain that cotton is their first choice. That's what they think of first when they think of apparel or any fiber content, and that they understand the benefits, that they are engaging with us on digital and social media, and that we're finding them where they are and being relevant. And last but not least, in the action, that includes check the label. Remember that slide I showed you earlier? Of course, buying cotton, our sales are in bales. That's what we measure. And then last but not least, it's a little different with this generation, is we want them to be evangelists or ambassadors for us and share the love of cotton across social and digital media. So what I'm going to do now is turn it over to Ann David to talk with you about some of the activities that we're currently doing.
Thank you, Kim. Good morning, everyone. It's nice to be with you today. Before we take a look at the activities, I wanted to speak to the shifting media landscape from strictly a linear TV to a video-first viewing environment. So 25% of TV usage time is now spent streaming, up from 12% in 2019. Roughly half of that is subscription-based. 2020 and COVID was a turning point in video consumption that only accelerated an existing trend towards streaming. So your Hulus, your Rokus, and premium ad servers like YouTube Select. And TV is still king. That's where we see our mass and our reach and our scale. However, networks are diversifying their offerings to full episode players so that the ability to watch network episodes on your own time on an online environment. Additionally, major studios are capitalizing on the streaming trend with such as Paramount Plus, Disney Plus. I'm sure some of you have these in your home. But again, we'll see how the advertising opportunities continue with those newer platforms. Further, young adults spend over 3 more hours a week than other demographics streaming, and that we know that Gen Z in particular are heavy users of just the internet in general. They are 98% more likely than the general population to use this platform first. So as we look at some of these activities, I just wanted to make sure that we understand that there's a video first environment that we're looking at. So our youth marketing efforts appeal to the younger side of our target demographic, which for our media target is 18 to 34. So within that, we really look at that sweet spot of 18 to 21, 18 to 24. Our media strategies on the premise of meet them where they are. So BuzzFeed, Pandora, YouTube, those are sites that we know our target is spending most of their day. 62% of Gen Z visits YouTube every single day. Further, in 2021, we expanded our efforts with Snapchat. This is actually a really great example of how we focus our marketing efforts. So in 2020, we did a very small test and learn with Snapchat. We saw wonderful results. So now in 2021, we'll be expanding this effort with them. We're actually going to be first to market this year with them with a new try-on lens. It's an augmented reality piece where the user can actually try on cotton clothing. Additionally, we'll be creating another augmented reality piece that is specifically focused on sustainability, as we know that that's an important brand attribute for this demographic. Also, utilizing our video first environment, we'll bring our anthemic campaign, Your Cotton Your Way, to those key sites where the youth target is spending their time. So pre-roll on YouTube, pre-roll on Pandora, etc. So TikTok is a very exciting area for us. If you're not familiar, it's a fast-growing social media platform. Actually, in 2020, 63% of TikTok users in the US were aged between 10 and 29. This is an important part of our youth and our young adult demographic. In 2021, we launched our TikTok channel with some organic content, but we're very excited to be bringing an influencer activation this summer. We're working with a popular music influencer. Her name is Madeline Bailey. I'm not sure if you've been watching, but she's actually been a contestant on America's Got Talent. As we're bringing the jingle to life to a younger audience, to the TV spots, we're also bringing it to this even younger audience on TikTok. So Madeline had put out a call to her audience to tell her their favorite item of cotton clothing. And from there, she wrote 4 individual jingles. Now, because the songs are about a minute each, I don't want to take our time with that. I'm just going to play a very small snippet of one of the songs. And then after the meeting, I'll be sure to send out the link to everyone. And if you're not following us on TikTok, please do. We are at Discover Cotton. So Kim, I think we're ready to play that.
Fabric of our lives, oh, the touch, the feel of cotton, the fabric of our lives.
Thank you. So we received over 7,500 suggestions for songs, and we picked 4. So we're really excited about them, and the songs are really adorable. We'll be sure to send those around. In addition to our media efforts, while our media target is 18 to 24 for youth, we do want to see the benefits of cotton.
It's not, I mean, I don't have to talk or nothing. I'm just watching and reading. But it would be kind of neat to listen.
Hey, somebody, hey, somebody, we're hearing you out there. Check you're muted.
I think I got him. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's all right. So as I was saying, while our media target really focuses on 18 to 24, we do want to see the benefits of cotton at the elementary school level. For the 3rd year in a row, the department has worked with Young Minds Inspired. They're an educational site geared towards educators. We've sent out 6 e-blasts since we've started. We've seen over 140,000 downloads.
Yeah.
And the curriculum really.
All right. Is there a bar can you get a bar to come up where you make the volume go up more?
I hit this thing over here that I found on the keyboard.
Volume.
Volume.
Yeah.
Where?
Is that what?
Oh,
All right. One of them other buttons.
Wait a minute. It says,
sounds like I'm okay to keep going.
I think so.
I was being muted by the host, but I think I'm back. All right, let's try this again. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Okay.
can.
Great, thank you. So I'll just finish up with this slide that we're using YMI to bring our educational materials to an elementary school audience. What we really love about this program is that we're able to focus on STEM focused learning. Any educator can use this for free. You don't have to log in. It doesn't cost anything. So we see educators from across the country, educators in the classroom, after school programs, 4-H clubs. So we really enjoy this program. We've seen some really positive results from it. And we'll continue to focus on working with this group in the year to come. We're looking forward to 2022. We'll refresh the materials with updated sustainability claims, new activities for the students as we focus on not only sustainability and STEM, but also our denim recycling program, which I believe Kim is actually going to talk about next.
Great. Thanks so much, Ann. And the other thing I want to add here is there are whiteboard opportunities and activities when they're downloaded, and they can take these home and even check the label activity where we're really trying to get them to look at that label and understand what's made of cotton. So there's a lot of information here. If you haven't leveraged it and utilized it, we encourage you to do so. So Ann was just talking about our Blue Jeans Go Green program. For those that you may not know, this is a program that we began back in 2006, and we were collecting denim items, or are collecting denim items, to keep them out of the landfill and turn them into something new and something different. Historically, that has been insulation for homes. We are broadening that and looking at insulation for food packaging, other categories, potentially pet beds, and so forth. This has been a wonderful program with us. We've had more than 200 partners, and to date kept more than 4 million items out of landfill. So very exciting. And during this time, we've done a variety of programs, some of which included youth. Back in 2009, we had a program with National Geographic Kids magazine where we set a world record with the Guinness books and collected more than 33,000 denim items. And that was, if you think about it, the upper end of this Generation Z that participated in that. And another item that we've done with this, heavily promoting, of college students. And in fact, since the beginning of this program, we've had more than 90 universities and colleges involved. And if you look at this map, you can see in almost every state. So when we do this type of promotions, we're taking information to them about cotton, about recycling, why it's important, and the benefits of it. So getting them at a very young age and priming them to start to look for and care about the environmental reasons of cotton. And most recently, we had a brand partnership program with Future Farmers of America in Texas. Andrea Samber, who is on the phone and who will be doing a full cotton and coffee on this program in a couple of months, just went down there with this group. In the totality of Texas Future Farmers of America, there are about 140,000 members. At the conference alone, even with everything going on in the world, 11,000 attended. And they had chosen to work with Blue Jeans Go Green as their philanthropy. One of the reasons, of course, is the connection with farmers and their organization, but also because of the opportunity to impact the environment. And at this conference, they collected more than 4,000 pieces of denim, and it's still going on today. There is a retail partner called Zappos that we work with that other students that weren't able to attend are able to mail in their denim at no charge and help to participate to this cause. So this is just one other effort on how we're working with the youth and students to teach them about the benefits of cotton and to ensure they keep that with them as they grow older and go into college. Also in this brand partnerships team, we curate collections with key retailers and brands to showcase cotton items and to make it easy for consumers to buy, because that's part of our role. We want them to have cotton as the first choice and to select that. And most recently, some of you may remember we did a program with Amazon over the holiday season, and we used a key influencer, Debbie Ryan. Some of you may remember her on the Disney Channel from Jessie or The Sweet Life of Cody and so many others, Wizards of Waverly Place, but she has a youth following and 17 million that follow her. So she was a wonderful ambassador to have on this program. In a way, we look to extend the offerings we have. We just recently participated with a promotion with Good American. This is a category, if you're not familiar, the denim, but also casual apparel sales, and has investments from the Kardashians, and certainly a youth following there as well. And then Revolve is another online retailer, just to give you a third example that we've worked with. And they use a variety of influencers to promote their products, not just in the US, but globally. And most recently, they use 3 from Bachelor Nation, the Bachelor shows that also have a strong youth following. And not only did they do that to promote cotton and talk about its benefits, because we do help curate those messages and very intentional on what they say. You can see 3 TikTok activations they did on their organic channel and sent out that talk about the fashionability of cotton, but also the sustainability. And that's part of what we do, is trying to get those messages across. And if you missed it, Marissa Barlin, who leads this area, just did a copy and Cotton and Coffee 2 months ago on this topic that you can also find and review. So this is a very busy chart. I don't expect you to read it all, but these are some of the retail partners we've worked with since 2014. And I just had the team go in and circle which ones would be targeted at the youth market. You can see there are several that we have worked with and that we are continuing to focus on as we move forward into the future. And then lastly, in this area, I did want to mention to you that it's so important for our products to be on the shelf with cotton. And our product development group works diligently at creating technologies to be applied to cotton to make it competitive with other fibers in the market. And our account management team takes these technologies out and gets adoptions. And there are 3 brands that have most recently utilized one called Tough Cotton, which helps the durability and abrasion resistance of cotton apparel. It increases that, and it can be applied on the fabric or garment finish. But Kohl's, Lands' End, and Target currently or have used this technology. And here's an example of the way that it's been marketed. And keep in mind, again, look at the seal. We always use that prominently in these promotions because it is a quick identifier. And it's one that goes through a consumer's life, regardless of what generation. So next, I'm going to turn it back to Ann to wrap us up, and she's going to talk about exploration for us and future relationships for this market.
Thanks, Kim. So yes, we're looking at 3 particular areas: gaming, further education opportunities, as well as original content and what we call edutainment. So first with gaming, as you saw in the earlier slides, gaming is a very prevalent activity for not only the youth target, but our target in general. It's almost a $50 billion business. And as you can see, 96% of Gen Z are gamers. So this is an area that we've been delving into to understand a little bit more about. And just to give you another example of the growth of this category, so more so than music, more so than movies, among consumers 18 to 24, 66% played more console games, 60% played more mobile games, and 55% watched more gaming video on content sites like Twitch and YouTube, more so than movies or even music. And again, some of this isn't due to the pandemic and that people were home more and that they were finding ways to entertain themselves. There's also an element of escapism here, but this is one of the fastest growing media areas that we're looking at. The next slide is another very busy slide. When we'll get there, it hasn't advanced yet on my side. There it is. Another very busy slide. But so when we think of gaming, you may think of Xbox or you may think of PlayStation. You may have those in your home. But gaming has really extended beyond sort of the traditional, just the console type of gaming. Again, there's mobile, from mobile to YouTube gaming to in real life experiences. So there are these huge multi-million-dollar gaming conferences such as E3 and TwitchCon. So as we look at these, it's a huge area of growth within the youth population. And what we're trying to do now is to determine, where do we tell the cotton story within this media space? Just to give you another example, in the last 30 days, 54% of 18 to 24-year-olds participated in online gaming and 35% downloaded a video game, compared to 52% who watched a movie and 90% who participated in instant messaging. So again, this is an area of growth that we can't ignore. And we're just, as a department, we are exploring these opportunities to see, where do we best tell the cotton story? And then finally, just to wrap up about further education and what we call edutainment. We're continually looking at spaces where education, STEM, and the youth target meet, again, to tell that cotton story to a younger audience. Spaces such as Scholastic News, PBS Kids, Nat Geo Kids, as we've mentioned before, and Discovery Education all bring educational programming to youth. One of the reasons you heard me mention that we have been working with YMI is because there is no cost to the educator. And that's important to us because when considering these media spaces, we have to strategically think about the cost versus the return ratio, the accessibility to the larger audience, and does the platform have the required scale of reach that we're trying to acquire when we're talking to educators. Further, we continue to explore immersive experiences for the older youth part of our target, again, the late teens to 24. So spaces like Coachella or Global Citizen, concerts where we know that young people are at, to see if an in real life experience can bring the cotton sustainability or STEM story to life in a different way. Further, we know that original programming on places like YouTube is only growing, and exploring how to create and produce our own original content is something the department has been talking quite a bit about. It is very expensive, but it's an interesting area. I'm not sure if you have seen a recent piece from Home Goods where they've created 5-minute episodes of what seems like a scripted series, but is really a long form advertisement for Home Goods. They're using popular comedian Jillian Bell. And it's a really interesting example of bringing sort of that idea of original content with advertising, again, to the target exactly where they are. And finally, you know, we always do have those conversations with the bigger movie studios to see, again, that mass appeal. In the past, we've worked with film launches such as the Sisterhood of Traveling Pants. We'd love to see that denim. And so again, always having those conversations of where does the cotton story make sense to our target where she is. And again, we continually have these conversations to stay ahead of trends and to see what's available and what makes the most sense strategically. Thank you very much. That does complete our presentation. May we answer your questions?